I'm back again. Uh, well, I'll show you what we're working on right now. So, here's what we're working on. You're probably thinking, this does not look like a white Ford F-250. If you weren't thinking that, you are now. So this is an 87 Yamaha Big Bear. I know I was supposed to do the Ford. It's not 100% complete. I mean, it's put together. I've already driven it and everything. I've just got a few more things to do to it. I'm not going to get into that right now. But, I mean, you're probably like, does this dude finish anything? I do. But, you know, I'm just getting started. I mean, I get sidetracked really, really bad. So, this is just what we're doing right now. Like I said, 87 Big Bear. You know, I mean, antique four-wheeler. So, just kind of had to. I've had it for a while. It's been sitting and I couldn't stand it. So, I figured, well, I'm done with the truck. I put a motor in a Ranger. Got that done. See, I do finish stuff. Then I figured, well, I'll work on this thing. Because I'm trying to save up a little money. And we're going to do some more modifications to the white truck. But I mean, I will make the rest of that video way later on. Those just, I figured I'm here, may as well. So, it lost spark. And for a while, well, first, let me go backwards. So I put a carburetor on, ran it for a little while. Starter went out, let it sit too long. Carburetor went bad. Really didn't want to clean it, especially when you get these carburetors fairly cheap. So, got a carburetor, battery, ignition switch, and then I didn't have any spark. And then I started looking at stuff, checked everything, you know. It was the weirdest thing because it didn't act like it was getting any signal to the coil. So I went through, checked everything like I said, and then wasn't coming up with anything. So, you know, I was reading stuff and everything was like, oh, did you check the CDI? Did you check the pickup coil? There's another coil in there. I can't remember what it is. Stator, which the stator itself found out doesn't actually have much to do with spark. It's just an alternator. I may not be 100% right on that. I'm not a four-wheeler mechanic. So then I come back up here. I'm thinking, well, does the voltage regulator, which they have another name for it, does that have anything to do with spark? I doubted that anyway. I don't think it does. I mean, it does. I mean, it sends power to places I'm not 100% sure on. But I got to fooling around with it, and this is over the course of probably a month. Just trying to go over this thing, see what's going on with it, put an meter on it. Everything was testing good. And like I said, the things I was reading, people have gone through, done entire electrical system to these things. And just wires, stator, coils, CDI, regulator, everything. They have replaced everything. Still no spark. And I got to thinking about that. That flat out doesn't make sense. Because if they're going through changing all that stuff, it's all new. So it should have spark. Then just, I don't even know. what was going through my head when I took the plug wire boot off of the spark plug. This is just like a half hour ago. And, well, first off, I figured I want to make 100% sure there is no spark. I wasn't getting anything at the plug. Spark plug, I mean. So, it just dawned on me, so, because I don't have an actual spark tester. I was just using the spark plug, grounding the plug, checking the spark that way, turning it over. So I figured there could be something going on in the wire. So I took my timing light, put it on the plug wire, and it was lighting up. Just I thought that was strange. There's no spark at the plug. Well, hold on just a second. See this boot? This comes out. You can pull that straight out of there. It's not like your typical spark plug wire. It's actually got metal wire in it. Inside of right here, there's a prong that just stabs that wire. So I took it off, cut a little bit off of here, shoved it back in there. Sure enough, this thing fired up. That was frustrating. Now, a lot of people, that kind of thing would be pretty obvious. But, I mean, I usually get these gut feelings. It's like, it's something just flat out stupid. Just check the simplest things. And I even took a regular canister coil off of a pickup. Actually, it was the old one off of my white truck. Used it, and this does work, because I've got an 07 Honda. I was experimenting with coils with that one time. You can run a coil off of a vehicle on your four-wheeler. So I did that, and still I had nothing. And that was with a different plug wire too, so I figured, well, got to be something in the electrical. Obviously, it was something in the electrical, just closer to the plug than I originally thought. So, these things, when I was looking up the fire issue with these Yamahas, that they were all over the place. A lot of them, they're simple issues. A lot of them, people have tried and gone back and forth, done whatever they could to try to get them running, and they still never had spark, and no one really seemed to have the answer. So, if you ever have that issue with one of these, start with that. And I really wish I did, because as you just saw, that this thing's completely torn down. I've taken all the tape off of the wires, and that is a pain in the butt, especially the tape I'm using to try to tape it back up. This stuff, what is this? Yeah, what does that say? Render? Yeah, got it off of Amazon a while ago. This tape, don't ever get it. This is the worst tape ever. Every time you try to wrap it around something, it just splits it right down the middle or off to the side. Then you gotta completely start over. Don't use this. Get some scotch or something like that. But yeah, that's satisfied. I'm satisfied with what I've found. Glad I don't have to buy anything else for it, because anytime you can fix something with what you got, that's a win. And I'm going to get this thing put back together. Probably finish it tomorrow, actually. Then this will be the first, I guess, kind of a series. It'll probably only be, well, no, it won't be a series, but it'll be a full video at least on one subject. So I'll see you tomorrow, probably. But it won't actually be a whole day because it'll probably be all in one video. Yeah, so you'll see it when it's all put back together. I might even wash it because I really like this four-wheeler. It is the worst riding four-wheeler I've ever been on in my entire life. But it is an antique. I think it's pretty cool because you don't see a whole lot of old four-wheelers like this, especially in as good a shape as this one's in. I mean, it leaks a lot of oil, but other than that, it's in real good shape. Then at some point, I'll put the winch back on it. Put it on the way it's supposed to go, because before they just had it on the front rack, and it bent that all up to pieces. But, yeah. Alright, so now you can see we got it put back together. It's looking good. We got the winch in its proper place before it was sitting on top of that rack. Now it's tucked in there nice and neat. And then here in just a second we're gonna rip through the woods in it. One thing before we go do that, I want to mention this switch. I added that for ground switch. Now the reason for that is the ignition works off the ground, which of course it needs the 12-volt power, but it turns on and off with the ground. So what ended up happening was I ordered an ignition switch, and it turned out that when they put it together, for some reason 12 volts on was ground turned off. Then 12 volts off was ground turned on. So it took me a minute to figure that out. That was the second reason I didn't have any spark. The first was, of course, the spark plug wire. But what happened there was I ended up ordering 2 switches because I thought, well, this switch, something going on that's not right. Went ahead and ordered another one. It was doing the same exact thing. And I've seen things on the forums for these four-wheelers where someone will go through and do the entire electrical system, still have no spark. That's one thing you want to look into, is make sure that switch is put together properly. The 2 switches I got just flat out weren't put together properly. They were just, it wasn't connecting the ground when it was supposed to. Key on, 12 volts on, that's supposed to connect your ground too. Wasn't doing it. I got tired of fooling with it. I wanted to ride this thing, so I just put the little on off there. That's enough talking about this thing. We're gonna ride it. Okay. This thing, it rips pretty good.